It has been a long time. Today we're meeting a TikToker named Glitter Cowgirl Moments, a Pilates instructor who has found herself in the middle of a dumpster fire marriage. She says she saw a TikTok that said, every relationship is at some point a dumpster fire, and she is currently waiting for hers to go out so they can resume to being happily married. But I'm gonna make a bit of a hot take here and say, it's really hard to have a happy marriage when the person you're married to is your biggest enemy.
I teach 7 or 9 classes today, and I'm literally on the verge of a mental breakdown.
Before we get way too deep into this video, I'm a big believer in your relationship, your romantic relationship, never making you feel this way. If you are at the point to where your partner is causing you to break down and to cry alone in your car, there's an issue there. And we haven't gotten to her specific issue yet, but I don't think that I'm going to look at this, see someone who has to cry in their car alone and then go on a TikTok because presumably the person that they're having an issue with is not a person they can communicate well enough with that they can talk to them. So instead, they do have to cry in their car and then post it on TikTok. Regardless of who in that situation is a bad communicator, there is an issue there within the relationship that probably is already unfixable. If the person you love, the person that you're married to, if the person you wish and hope to spend the rest of your life with is probably unaware that they're the reason you're crying alone in your car right now, probably a problem.
I got married not even a year ago, and the man I fell in love with is not the man I'm married to today. They are not the same person. I don't even know where the one I got engaged to is. He's probably lost on a fucking island.
So this happens pretty often, where the person that you end up in a long-term relationship with is entirely different than the person who swept you off your feet, proposed to you, dated you for years. And I wish that I could tell you why. I do, but I don't know. I could sit here and say that when I was young and when I was 16 and I was in a relationship for the first time, the person I was when trying to make that person like me was different than the person I was when we were in the relationship. I could tell you that when I figured out we were going to break up, I just stopped caring. That 16, 17-year-old me was just like, all right, yeah, whatever. No, you can come over if you want. And sometimes we just grow up. The person that I was when I got into my longest relationship was entirely different at 20 than at 25. The person that I was when me and Lee started dating is going to be entirely different at the start than me a couple of years from now. The person that I am now is going to change probably every 2 to 3 years and hopefully for the better. So that completely normal. But to be married and to within a year realize that the person you're married to is not the person that proposed to you, maybe it just feels like you've been tricked, like you've been lied to, like you were promised an entirely different person than the one you got. And that sucks. Yeah, I get it. I'm also breaking down in my car. I don't know what it is about, and I don't necessarily want to say men, but in this situation, it's a man. I don't get what it is that makes you lie to the person you want to be with until you are with them, until you have them. And now it's like, surprise, this is who I've been the whole time. I've said it so many times when it comes to usually estranged parents. When I go, let them talk long enough and they'll tell you who they are. If you let them talk long enough, they will tell you exactly who they are. If you let them talk long enough through, oh, I don't know how this happened, they will eventually get to, except I was racist and transphobic, and they didn't like that. But that doesn't seem like a good reason to stop talking to me. And so it feels like we have entire groups of people who are falling in love with people who are lying to them. And that just sucks. And then what's going to happen? She's going to file for divorce. He's going to blame it on her, saying that, well, she knew what she was getting into. If the problem is that you think you being honest and being yourself is not going to impress or get a woman, then you should change who it is that you are before you lie to someone else. And I can't imagine that's a hot take. The first comment on this video says, if the man he was the man trying to win you, and now he's who he really is, since he doesn't have to work for it, run. Go now. You deserve to choose you. And I guess that's exactly what that is. There are plenty of things that are different from the very first day Lee and I started talking to where we are now. But their comfortability. I don't hesitate when I have questions. I don't wonder whether or not I'm bothering her. I don't think my entire personality has changed.
Basically, I saw a TikTok yesterday that said every single relationship that is successful has at one point been a dumpster fire.
Which is a terrible thing to look for. By the way, your relationship is going to have ups and downs. I think that's pretty normal. However, it should not start by going down. You're not on Love Island. You don't need to be having fights with your partner after 2 days of knowing each other. And you can normalize it all you want, but there are plenty of relationships where people don't fight. On the other side, there are plenty of relationships where that's kind of how things get resolved, and that's none of my business. I just hope to not be a part of those. I'm not a big fan of conflict with my partner. But generally speaking, a relationship that starts awfully is not going to go well. If you are fighting immediately, you're probably just going to keep fighting. Normally when I say stuff like that, I get comments that are on both sides. Comments that are like, well, me and my partner fight pretty often. It's normal. And then I get comments that are like, me and my partner have been together for 7 years and we've never had a fight. I'm trying to be that 7-year one. We're over a year now without a single fight. So that's dope. Sometimes I try to start them. I'm not going to lie. But it's always over something stupid. Like I'll try to sneak yogurt into our grocery cart when we're grocery shopping, and yogurt will kill me. So she goes, no, don't do that. And I go, wow, you hate me. And that's pretty much it. That's the extent of our fights. And I think it could go a little bit further than that. But if you're legit, just getting into actual real fights as a way of communicating and trying to solve your problems, maybe that's a problem in itself. And maybe that's a relationship you don't need to be in. And I hope to God that you find your way out before you end up in a situation where you're crying in your car because you cannot communicate with your partner and you're in a marriage. And you're in a marriage with someone who is not the person you thought you were marrying, because that just sucks.
When does it go out? When does a dumpster fire go out?
It doesn't. I'm so sorry. I get it, girl. This sucks for you. This is a terrible situation to be in, and I hope you find your way out. But if your relationship starts with a fight, it is probably going to continue being a fight. I am such a big believer in trying to love the person that is going to love you as hard as they can, as much as they can. I love being loved by the person that I'm currently with, and I hope to God she's telling me the truth when she says that back to me. I do not want to end up in a relationship where I'm so scared to communicate my wants and my needs, and I'm so scared of telling people what I think because they're going to get mad at me. I've had those relationships. I don't want them again. I get too personal in these videos because my own experience is all I know how to talk about. Sorry. And I end up in weird situations where people find out this is what I do. I have a friend who less than 2 days ago texted me telling me she's breaking up with her boyfriend of over a year. And I nodded my head, and then she said it's because of a conversation you and I had. And I can't say her name because now that she knows that I do this, she might watch the video. But there was a list of things that my friend wanted from a relationship. She's 26. Her partner was 30, 31. And she was getting none of it. I'm not going to sit here and out her entire list, but it ended with she wants somebody to hold her hand. And he refuses because it made him uncomfortable. Okay, that's one thing. Not a reason to break up. But every other thing that could have stemmed from that did. Every other thing she wanted, to be held, to be touched, to be loved in the way that she wanted those things, were not at all things that he wanted to do for her. But he very much expected her to do the things that he wanted all the time. And I said to her, dog, you are 26. Regardless of how long this relationship lasts, it is going to be a waste of time. I've known this woman since we were 19. So I was very honest about how I felt, what I thought she needed, how I thought this relationship was going to go. And I just really, really believed that regardless of how long it lasted, it was going to be a waste of time. It is a waste of time to spend your 20s with someone who is not going to give you what you want and to hope they're going to change. And so she messaged me a couple days ago, told me she thought about what I said and that they're breaking up. And I wished her a happy breakup while me and Lee were watching Love Island. And I wish this exact situation with every other person was that easy. But it's not. Sometimes you end up married, and that sucks. You deserve to be loved in the way you want to be loved. There are absolutely compromises. But if you want to have your hand held, you should find someone who wants to hold your hand. I say this to Lee pretty often, and I do mean it. Whatever you want, whenever you want it. I'm not like the best person to date. I have no attention span. I'm kind of stupid. I'm set on making my entire living sitting in front of a camera pretending my opinion matters, and I am incapable of taking most situations seriously. Oh, I'm a lot to deal with, and my needs are unnecessary at some points. Sometimes I just want chocolate, and I make Lee take the entire Skyway with me in Minnesota until I find a place to buy chocolate. And sometimes I spend my money on a Mew Ditto and an Eevee Ditto and sunflower jelly cats. Sometimes I forget to pay my credit card on time. I don't know how to cook more than like 4 different foods. I have days that I waste just reading Wikipedia articles, and I only own 3 shirts. This is one of them. Dating me is sometimes a lot more work than it needs to be for Lee. But I'm very honest when I tell her whatever she wants, whenever she wants it, I'm going to try. And that goes for anything. If she sees a recipe on Pinterest that she wants to try, cool. We can do that. I will overcook chicken. If she wants me to play Just Dance with her, dope. Never done it before, but I'll dance. If she wants to have a baking stream, then I will cover myself in flour. Whatever she wants, whenever she wants it. And maybe that's a little extreme because I don't really want her to do that for me. But you should find someone to love you, or at least try to love you in the way that you want to be loved. And you deserve a lot better than someone who tried for you until they had you and then decided that that was long enough. Now that you are stuck with them, they're going to settle into who it is that they are. And who they are sucks. And if by some miracle, the guy who my friend just broke up with ends up watching this video, grow up, dude. I hope you end up with somebody who wants nothing, because that is exactly what you gave her. Okay, thanks.
I've been living this for what? Like 8 months? 6 months now?
I really want to know how long they've been together. Married for a year. This absolutely gives me the vibe of like they got married very fast, which happens. I've said it before. I'm not at all against getting married pretty quickly. However, if this happens, that just sucks.
I'm called a nag, I'm a bitch, and I'm too high maintenance. Oh, but I'm fucking insecure too. All the things. And my favorite is I'm told I'm a nag and controlling when I say that his drinking is an issue, which it is.
This doesn't apply to her because she's already in the relationship. But I hope to God that for every person here who is single or just getting into one, regardless of gender, this goes for men, women, non-binary people, there has to be such a basic level of respect going into your relationship if you're being called anything. Really, like if their response to you asking them to do something simple or to work on something within the relationship, or like, hey, this is a problem, is to call you names, call you a nag, whatever, just ignore it and just say, no, whatever, you don't get it, you're whatever. That's not a person you need to be with. You deserve better. You deserve a lot of respect. And that's you just being a person in your relationship.
For my birthday, what did I ask for? For him to be sober.
If you have to ask someone to just be sober for your birthday, there's going to be men in here that go, well, she's patronizing me, she's treating me like a child. Well, if you're at the point to where your drinking is such a problem that your partner has to ask you to be sober for their birthday, you're acting like a child. And if you're at the point to where you have to ask your partner to just be sober for your birthday, leave him. Like, I get it. I get it. It is so much easier to say that than to do that. But you're either going to leave or you're going to be forced to leave. And I hope you have it in you to leave before that happens.
Because when he's sober, he is the nicest, most caring person I've ever met. When he drinks, oh my god. Gun to my head, wouldn't go and be stuck in a room with him. Couldn't do it.
That just sounds like he has to try really hard to be nice, and it probably annoys him to the point to where he's like, I just want to drink. It sounds like he is making a job out of having to be nice around you or to other people. And then when he's off the clock, he just wants to drink. If who he is while he is drunk is abusive to you and other people, and that man wants to get drunk, who he is someone who is abusive to you and other people. These are not two separate people. They're the same person at a different time of day.
It is like raising a 180-pound child that becomes incompetent and an asshole the second there is a drop of liquor involved.
I think that's something that comes up in every conversation we have about relationships, whether it's Paul and Morgan, a lot of the women on TikTok, Or men when they're like, I just want someone to do all my chores for me. All these men end up just acting like children. And if they're going to be kids, they should go find a mom, not a partner to lie to.
Beer, liquor, doesn't matter. And here I am, sitting here. Last night we got in a fight, and all I was looking for was, I voiced what bothered me and how it made me feel. And all I was looking for was him to either acknowledge it and try to make it right, or own up to it and apologize. What I get? I got told to shut the fuck up. And why do I always do this when I was speaking and wasn't being spoken back to?
An acknowledgement and apology is the bare minimum, and you deserve so much better than that. Like, I'm a big believer in apologies meaning nothing, and it has to be an action. Hey, sorry, I won't do it again. And then they have to not do it again, which sounds like it is an impossible task here.
So how to make someone that's already feeling hurt more hurt? By ignoring them, right? And then he said, this was the biggest waste of my fucking life.
So this is a trend that I've noticed, and I'm not an expert. This is simply what I've seen. A lot of these men end up in relationships that they then realize they don't want to be in. Or they have the thought that they can do better. Or they have the thought that they'd be better off alone. So instead of ending it, they check out. And they do that by drinking, cheating, mentally just not being there. And they put the entirety of the relationship and the work, the grueling work of ending it, onto the woman. And I think as people, we don't want to give up. Every other day I see the Twitter post that goes, if we're married, we're married. We work our problems. Divorce isn't an option. But there's a reason why so many divorces happen. And it's because it's really easy to be the person that says you want to make it work. It's really, really hard to be the person who does it. And to also find the other person who does it. Because if you were both working so hard to make your relationship work, you probably wouldn't get to this point. So here we are. She wants him to stop drinking. He sounds like he's just checked out. And he drops, this is the biggest waste of my life. Why won't he leave? I don't know, dog. I don't know what it is about us. I don't know what it is about men. We don't make doctor's appointments and we don't leave when we should. I've seen a dentist once in the last 6 years, but she is wasting her time and he is wasting her time. And I don't know how this video ends, but I hope to God she has it in her to leave.
So where I'm at, I'm in the dumpster fire and someone just poured gasoline on it.
You're not in the dumpster fire. You're digging through trash and the trash is your husband. There's nothing to work through. If you say, hey, I don't like when you drink, and so he keeps drinking, and then he says, this relationship is the biggest waste of my life, there is nothing to work through. You deserve better. And if you don't want to drop the word better, you deserve at the very least different. The worst part of your life should not be what should have been the best part of your life. I get that we all have something different. Some people want work to be the best part of their life. Some people like to sleep all day. Some people want, like I do, their romantic relationship to be the best part of their life. It, at the very least, should not be a detriment to you and who it is you are. You shouldn't have to make videos in your car crying about your relationship because you don't want to be in your house. What is there to fix? Really, what is there to fix? This isn't a 20-year marriage either. She said she got 8 months. She got 8 months. She got 8 months of being loved in what is supposed to be a lifetime. I don't think spending the rest of your life miserable was worth having a good 8 months.
And I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck? What is going on? Yeah. Basically, I do nothing to our relationship. I do nothing to make his life easier. I'm told all the things.
Does he do anything to make your life easier? Because it sounds like he's just making it harder and he's expecting you to deal with it. Hopefully they don't have kids.
He just wants to be done with this. Like, this is the worst relationship he's ever been in. Okay. I'll have to note on the coffee table. Literally saying how I feel and how
I'm going to cut her off. I'm so sorry. If he said he's done with this and you're just going to tell him how you feel, you have to get out of there. You deserve so much better. You can't beg for a man who doesn't even want you.
Marriage should be, in my eyes, where they're your best friend, your ride or die, someone who is your emotional support, your physical support, your mental stability, everything. Good days, bad days, all of them, right?
That is what marriage should be. Your best friend, your ride or die, your emotional support, your person who is your shower when you come home from work. But you're not going to squeeze lemon juice out of an orange. You can try. You can squeeze harder. You can close your eyes and pretend that it's sour. But it's not going to happen. You can't get into a marriage and then expect to make it perfect. It's probably, and I'm guessing, a lot easier to marry someone who loves you than to force someone you're married to do so. Sometimes it's a time thing. Sometimes it wears off. Sometimes you've been together 30 years. Sure. But 8 months? Like, this is not someone who deserved you and your time. And maybe I'm giving her a lot of grace. Maybe we don't know anything about her. Maybe she's just as awful. But it sounds like she wanted to make this work. And I'm sorry for her that it didn't. Or that it's not working.
No, that's not what I have at this point.
Is that what you had at any point? I, again, don't know how quickly they got married. But I don't know how you go from marrying your best friend to having now a complete enemy in 8 months. So I don't know that they were together that long.
The most frustrating part was, so, long story short, we had a family cat, 2 of them. There's only 1 now. And the day the cat died was super unexpected. So obviously it threw me in for a loop, right? Never had a pet die other than a goldfish. And basically when this happened, I come home, I'm crying. He literally looked at me and then walked away.
Okay, so he's a psychopath. I told Lee this when we started dating. When Toast dies, I'm not moving out of bed for like 3 months. I got a lot of feelings. And maybe not every person has to be emotional over the loss of somebody else's pet. But if you tell me the saddest thing you've ever gone through was your cat, your dog, your turtle dying, I'm going to nod my head and go, yeah, that sucks. That's terrifying. That is not something I want to experience. So to walk up to your partner crying because your cat died and for them to go, all right, and just walk away is disgusting. Like, that's a psychopath. Like, that is a reaction of someone who has murdered a cat before.
Not even a hug on a bad day. On his bad days, I've been there. No questions asked. Made sure that he was taken care of. And when I have a bad day, I'm told I need to toughen up. Yeah, I need to toughen up. Says the one whose life was handed to him on a platter when, like, he doesn't even clearly care or know how much of a jab that fucking is.
Yeah, she's just in a bad marriage, and that sucks.
So basically, I'm posting this to say the girl who made the video about the fucking dumpster fire, when does it fucking end? Because I can't live like this the rest of my fucking life. Cannot, will not, like, I won't.
I do get the feeling that it's a relationship that he will not end, regardless of whether or not he wants to. And so he's just going to get drunk and say, this is the worst relationship in my life. And I guess she's just going to deal with it because she said, this is not something I want to deal with the rest of my life. When does the dumpster fire end? But it feels like the entire relationship is a dumpster fire. It feels like you spent the first 8 months of your marriage probably putting stuff in the dumpster to later light on fire. Like, I'd rather live my life alone than with a partner who, on their best days, just fought with me. I'd rather live my life alone than with a partner who said, I want you to revere me. And on my bad days, I want you to take care of me. But on your bad days, on your worst days, when your pets die, I'm going to tell you to toughen up. And that's for you, girl. Like, a lot of the time in these videos, people will subtly defend their partner with these little jabs. Oh, but he wasn't always like this. Oh, but he used to do this. Oh, but like he'll get me flowers. Oh, but he'll apologize. Oh, but whatever. Nope, not a single time. Every one of these has just been him getting worse and worse. I married a man who doesn't love me. Didn't care when my cat died. He has bad days and I'm there for him and I take care of him. And on mine he goes, get over it. Is there anything good about him?
Because the best part is, and I told my husband this last night, I was like, the person I fell in love with, that version of you, wherever he is, I want him back. Like, I literally said, I'm like, he would literally beat the shit out of you for treating me like this. And then he told me to shut the fuck up once again.
I don't know how you're supposed to leave a marriage. I don't know how you're supposed to get out of your own house. I don't know what the next steps are for being done with the person that you are married to. But I know that if you're being spoken to in this way, that if you're being so actively unloved, at some point, and I hope it doesn't take another 8 months, you have to believe them. If they say they don't want to be in this marriage, and they just tell you to stop talking all the time, I'm repeating myself at this point. You deserve better. It's hard to leave, but I imagine it's much harder to live this way.
Get married, they say. It's fun, they say. Nope. Don't get married. Don't get engaged. Don't have a family. Don't do it. Don't do it. This is me being 25, realizing I think my midlife crisis is.
Oh, you are so young. Don't get me wrong. I'm not discounting any of what she said or what she spelled. But you're 25. You can leave now and live your entire lifetime. You've been an adult for 7 years. You can leave now and have an entirely different life, better life, new marriage, better marriage by the time you're 32 if you want. 25 is so young, too young to be stuck in a relationship with someone who will not hold your hand. We're going to work all the way back there. You're too young, you're too young, you're too young. You're in your 20s. You're too young to settle for a man who will not be nice to you, who will not satisfy you sexually, who will not try. Period. Try. It's stupid and it's embarrassing to stand in Lee's kitchen and bake a cake when I don't know how to bake. When I end up covered in flour. When I'm mixing it all together and spill some on the counter. It's wild. It's whack. And it feels weird and I don't like it. But I'm going to do it for her every time. And I will get better for her every time. And I will try a little harder than I think I can every single time. And that's all it has to be. All you have to do, I hope, and I'll start praying to whatever it is I'm supposed to believe in, that you all end up in relationships with someone who wants to love you a little bit more than you love them. And that you do the exact same thing for them. But this is not it, woman. You made a mistake. And that sucks. The person you ended up with is someone who doesn't deserve you. But you are not stuck in those errors. You're not stuck in these holes you dug. You can step out. You can live an entire new life. Don't tell people you got divorced if you don't want to. You're 25. No one's going to question it. Go live your life. You'll be okay. But it's not going to get better. You're not going to fix someone who doesn't want you. Oh, and I guarantee you, if and when she leaves, she's going to get 3 months of silence and then a bunch of calls and texts like, oh no, I'll change. I'm sorry. I'll do better. And I hope she just stays away.
Being 25, realizing I think my midlife crisis is literally a divorce.
Most people are going to live past 50. You're a third of the way through your life in the United States. You are fine. Get a divorce. Get another one if you have to. You'll be okay. This is not going to define you. This is not who you are. Who you are is someone who made a mistake and ended up being married to someone who didn't want to do their part in the marriage. That's not your fault. You messed up. It happens. You will be okay.
Because I'm married to an alcoholic who understands that he hurts me when he's sober, but then the drink is always more important.
He's being very honest with you in those moments, maybe not in his words, but he is very much reminding you that alcohol matters more to him than you. And who he is when he's drunk is not someone who you should have to put up with or raise.
So yeah. Love this. Anyways, I'm going to get a matcha because I deserve it. The dumpster fire, I see no end. I told him he needs to figure out what he wants. If it's his marriage, then things need to change. Like weeks ago, months ago, they needed to change. And if he doesn't want this, I said, great. Call your prenup lawyer and file the fucking papers. Whatever you want, I will agree to it. I don't care. I just know what I deserve, and I know I need to be treated better, whether it's by you or someone else.
And then he's going to turn around and tell people that she gave him an ultimatum. I didn't see it coming. It came out of nowhere. I thought we were fine. And suddenly she's like, well, we're getting a divorce.
She's like, I'm going to sleep at my mom's house for the foreseeable future.
Whatever works, as long as she's out of there.
This is 25 in my dumpster fire of a marriage.
So there is an update. However, I think we'll save that for another time. I've been gone for a little while. I did get a little sad. I've talked about that a couple times. I think before I'm anything else, I am someone who is and always has been and is always going to be more sad than they need to be. And sometimes that means I don't get out of bed for a little while. And then when I kind of dragged myself out of that, I was on a plane and I'm at Lee's house right now. She's at work. And so I'm going to get started on editing before she gets back. I think I'm going to end it like this. Sometimes work sucks. Sometimes you get a job that pays your bills that you don't really like. You clock in, you deal with it, you clock out, but it pays you okay. And so you go, all right, 10 days out of my 2 weeks suck, but then I get paid. And then I feel good. And then 10 days out of my next 2 weeks suck, and then I get paid. And then I feel good. And that's fine when it's your job and you get a vacation every couple of years, but I wouldn't force myself into a relationship that feels like work. You are allowed to be loved in all of your relationships, friendly, romantic, whatever. There is a way that you want to be loved. And there are compromises you're going to have to make, but I hope that you end up being loved in the ways that you would like to be. If you want someone to hold your hand, I hope you find someone to hold your hand. If you want someone to make you food, I hope you find someone who loves to cook. And if you want someone to be your best friend, I hope you end up marrying your best friend. You deserve so much in this world. And being married to your enemy, to your op, to Flygon HG is not it. Thank you for spending time with me. This is my favorite thing to do. You're my favorite people to do it with. I will let you go here. Okay? We good? Get out of here. I'm wearing a shirt today. This might be the first time I've ever made a video with a shirt on instead of a hoodie. Lee got this one. There's a flower on it. Okay, yeah. All right, get out of here.